Die-hard fans who have been privileged to get an autograph from their favorite stars will tell you that it's one of the best feelings ever. The item the superstar puts his or her signature on becomes priceless and kept under very good care. Would you be surprised if I told you that some of these autographs are worth a fortune? Well, they are, and you won't believe how much people are willing to pay for them. In this video, we'll be looking at the 10 most expensive autographs in the world. Care to find out whose autograph is the most expensive? Then you have to watch to the very end. Number 10. John F. Kennedy's newspaper, $39,000. Before JFK lost his life at the hands of an assassin, a young woman was lucky enough to have him sign a copy of the Dallas Morning News Daily. Being who he was and considering the circumstances surrounding his death, you can imagine this autograph would be worth a lot of money. This newspaper copy was bought by Hollywood star Joseph Maddalena for $39,000. He values it so much that he has spent about $500,000 insuring it. Number 9. Jesse James photo, $52,000. Jesse James was popular for all the wrong reasons. Robbery and murder were among his many notorious acts, so you may be surprised that he too has an autograph that's worth so much. James was an outlaw, so he hardly signed anything, but his autographed photo is worth some cool cash today. His granddaughter, Ethel Rose, was in possession of the photograph, which she eventually put up for auction. It was sold for $52,000, not bad for an outlaw. Number 8. Jimmy Page's guitar. If you're a fan of rock music, then you already know how priceless a rock star's autograph is. Now imagine if that autograph was from a star as big as Jimmy Page. The Led Zeppelin lead guitarist was key to smash hits like Stairway to Heaven, and he was truly a fan favorite. The best part is, the guitar still works very well after all these years, and this makes it even more valuable. There have been so many guitars believed to have been signed by Page, but none except for this one have been authenticated. The 963 Gibson was purchased by a loyal fan for $73,000. Lucky guy. Number 7. Albert Einstein's photo, $75,000. Autographs are usually associated with names like LeBron James, Tom Brady, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift. But Albert Einstein? Believe it or not, Albert Einstein could be playful too. On his 72nd birthday, he took a picture with his tongue sticking out. The picture was taken by Arthur Sass, and Einstein signed just 1 or 2 copies of it. As you would expect, forgers were busy making fake versions of the picture, but none of them were authenticated. It wasn't until 2009 that an authentic copy finally surfaced. It was verified to be original, and was even confirmed by Einstein's living family members. The original version of this picture was sold at auction for $75,000. Number 6. Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe's baseball, $191,200. Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe are arguably the most famous celebrity couple of all time. With such fame attached to their names, you can imagine how much the baseball they both signed would be worth. What makes this baseball more valuable is that it's the only item the couple ever signed together. An anonymous collector paid $191,200 for it. Number 5. Jimi Hendrix's contract. Many would agree that Jimi Hendrix didn't live life to the fullest, even though it seemed he did. The party-happy lead guitarist died at the very young age of 27 in 1970. However, his name lives on through his music, and of course, his signature. In 1965, he signed a contract where he agreed he was going to sell his rights for a measly 1% royalty. Many years later, that contract was sold for $200,000 in a 2009 auction, and his music is still being played up to this day. Number 4. Babe Ruth's baseball, $388,375. Popularly known as the Sultan of Swat, Babe Ruth is one of the most famous baseball players to ever live. He broke so many records during his playing years, which were between 1914 and 1935. During this time, you can imagine how many baseballs he must have signed. One of his autographed baseballs sold for $250,000 in a 2014 auction. But the only one that broke the bank was the one that was sold in 2012 for $388,375. For your information, this is the most expensive baseball to ever be sold at auction in the world. Number 3. John Lennon's murderer signed LP, $525,000. On the 8th of December 1980, Beatles megastar John Lennon was murdered by Mark David Chapman. Before the tragic event, Chapman was lucky enough to have Lennon sign a copy of his newly released Double Fantasy album. Chapman came back some hours later and shot Lennon 5 times. Strangely enough, Chapman didn't attempt to run after committing such a heinous act. He just sat there and waited for the police to arrive. Chapman's John Lennon autographed album was worth $525,000 in 2003. Who knows how much it's valued at now? We'll never know until someone is ready to pay for it, though. Number 2. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. In 1864, President Lincoln signed 48 copies of the Emancipation Proclamation. This document effectively ended slavery in America. Today, there are still 26 copies of this document left, most of which are on display in some universities and museums. One of the copies was sold for $750,000 in 1991, while another was sold for $2 million years later. But the largest sum was realized when an anonymous collector paid $3.7 million for a copy. Number 1. George Washington's Acts of Congress. Finally, we're at number 1, and George Washington's personal copy of the Acts of Congress takes this spot as the most expensive autograph ever. He signed the first page of the book, which was sold at a 2012 Sotheby's auction, and it was later purchased by Anne Bookout, a board member of the Vernon Ladies Association, or VLA. The VLA is a non-profit organization in charge of managing George Washington's Virginia estate. This autograph cost the VLA a whopping $9.8 million to acquire. Being a non-profit organization, you wouldn't be too surprised at what they did with the book after purchasing it. They placed the book in the most befitting place, which is the Washington Presidential Library in the White House. That was a very honorable thing to do, especially when you consider how much they had to pay for it. There you have it, the 10 most expensive autographs in the world. Which of these autographs do you think was worth every penny? And which do you think wasn't? Let us have your answer via the comments section. We'd be happy to hear from you. If you enjoyed watching this video, then kindly hit the like and share button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more great videos like this. Thanks for watching.